moving forward, not really holding back or like not having any regrets about it. Just kind of like going with the flow, realizing that things are working out the way they're working out right now because they kind of have to. I mean, there could be a little bit of regret because I do see that this king is drinking. But I feel like you're kind of going with the flow with the energy here and realizing that things just needed to end. Putting it to rest. You know, going after your wish for fulfillment. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. My heartburn is so bad right now. So let me get some clarifiers. Move this up. Tell me about the Five of Cups. Why is the Five of Cups here? So you have Knight of Swords, Queen of Wands, Page of Cups. Yeah, this could have possibly been your decision to move on, because I feel like this Queen of Wands is your energy right now. And I feel like she's just kind of like, she looks like she's super in her power. Like, she just is super confident, wants to go on adventures, is passionate, and just isn't really feeling this relationship anymore. And that's where this Knight of Swords comes in and this Page of Cups. Wanting to go create something new. Wanting to live a life where she doesn't have any regrets, where she doesn't look back on her life and realize that, you know, she probably was holding out on herself a bit. Some of the Four of Swords. And if this isn't your energy, then this is probably where you should be directing your energy. If you are going through this breakup at this time, then kind of look at this as like a new lease on life. Like, nothing's going to hold you back now from following your dreams. Tell me about the Four of Swords. Ten of Wands. But I feel like with this Ten of Wands, with this Four of Swords, I feel like you're laying down those burdens. Either that, or you could be carrying the, like, in what this relationship was, you could have been carrying that weight, and now it's time to rest. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. Tell me about the Nine of Cups. Why is the Nine of Cups here for Libra? Clarify the Nine of Cups. I will point out we do have 3 nines here. And now we have 4 nines. We have the Nine of Swords reversed. So really letting go of those fears and anxieties and learning to, you know, even if this wasn't how you wanted things to go with this relationship kind of dying, it is going to push you in a direction that's going to be a little more fulfilling for you. You're going to be able to live a life when you look back on your life at 90 years old and say, you know, I really went for it. I really don't have any regrets with my life. I, you know, traveled when I could, and I, you know, took risks when I could. And so I feel like, although there's an ending here, I feel like you're looking at this the right way, you know, looking at this with like fresh eyes possibly, or, you know, realizing that this is only meant to better you. Tell me about the Hermit. Oops. So it's kind of a lot. We're going to put them back. Oops. Tell me about the Hermit. Still kind of a lot. Why is the Hermit here? Oh my goodness. So we have Death and the Lovers. Could be dealing with Scorpio or a Gemini. But I feel like this was just possibly a mutual understanding that this relationship wasn't going anywhere. And if it wasn't mutual, then I feel like you will possibly get to a place where you'll realize this was for the better at some point this week. Tell me about Santa Muerte. 9 of Cups. So at one point, this was your wish fulfillment. This was something that you really wanted. But I feel like as the week goes on, this clearing out of energy that no longer suits you is you're really gonna find out that this actually wasn't really what you wanted. So for the 4 of Wands, we have the Star. You possibly are holding on to a little bit of hope right now. Feeling like this breakup or this separation won't be forever. Either that, or you're just healing over, having hope to have your own stability, I feel like. So we have the King of Cups. So you have the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Coins. So I feel like this is, this is you practicing self-love by going after the dreams that you couldn't when you started this relationship, by really staying true to yourself and, looking at this in a different way rather than looking at it as what ended. You're looking at it as what new starts can this possibly be now. Tell me about the 2 of Wands. So you have the Magician reversed and the Page of Coins reversed. So either you or this person were promising you things that they couldn't give, or they were promising you things and then decided not to follow through with that. I will point this out. There's been strength at the bottom of the deck for a while now, so you could be dealing with a Leo, or this is you really finding your power in all this. And really, taking on this Queen of Wands energy. This breakup may not be what you originally wanted, but I feel like this week you're really going to embrace the changes and go with the flow and start realizing that what you thought you wanted wasn't really what you wanted. So Libra, so far I've gone through half of the readings for this week, and every single one is about endings. And there's only been one other one where it wasn't really like a betrayal. It was still a breakup and an ending, but it wasn't a betrayal. But I feel like you're the only one that's really looking at this, out of those 6 signs, that's really looking at this as a new beginning, like a new... And look at that. The Cup and the Sun. Like, looking at this the way it should be looked at, focusing on the new beginning, the doors that are opening instead of the doors that are closing. So let me get you some final advice. Final advice for Libra. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Well, you got 2. And as I'm saying, focusing on the doors that are opening rather than the doors that are closing, we have the Owl and the Door reversed. So this is, doors are closing and there's new doors opening. And then the Owl is about wisdom, calm, and justice. So you're really looking at this the way it should be looked at, as, focusing on the doors that are opening rather than the doors that are closing, the doors that are getting slammed in your face. Looking at all the new opportunities that will now be available to you now that you don't have this ball and chain. So I feel like you're trying to control a situation through silence by not speaking to somebody. You're possibly trying to walk away from somebody and they're kind of not letting go at this time, but you're kind of ready to do your own thing. And because you're trying to control the situation, trying to get more order in your life. You're not really giving this person clarity. You feel like just by not talking to them, that should be all the clarity they need. But I feel like they need a little bit more clarity than that. So let me get some clarifiers, see what's going on here. Clarify the Knight of Swords for Libra, please. Why is the Knight of Swords here? The Emperor, again, trying to control the situation by not talking. Because the Knight of Swords did come out reversed. Sorry, my DM just texted me for the first time in a couple weeks. So that kind of threw my energy off a little bit. Tell me about the Four of Pentacles. This other person's definitely holding on, though. And I feel like you may need to give them some clarity. Tell me about the Four of Pentacles, please. Five of Wands. So, they're... How many fives is that? 1, 2, 3. 3 fives and 1, 2, 3, 4 fours. So... big changes in your stability and your home life. So this person's holding on to, they're possibly holding on to jealousy and envy. Tell me about the Five of Swords. Why is the Five of Swords here for Libra? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Clarify the Five of Swords, please. Knight of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles again, and Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like this could be the other person's energy, you know, feeling defeated because you'd rather be on your own right now, possibly just work on your money, or you could be in a new relationship with somebody else and they're kind of feeling defeated because they saw something with you at one point. And if you are with somebody else, that could be why there's jealousy here. Tell me about the Eight of Wands. The Hermit. I feel like with this Hermit and the Eight of Wands, they want that communication just so they can, you know, they just want a little clarity in this situation. They want that communication just so they can understand why things fell apart, understand what they did wrong, possibly. I don't know. It's totally up to you. I hate when people ghost. I've always been big on communication. I mean, I still talk to all my exes. I always talk to them. I always give them the clarity that they need in a situation. I know sometimes it's super annoying when you just want somebody to get the picture, but it's totally up to you, Libra, whatever you want to do. But tell me about the Eight of Cups. I mean, I don't feel like everybody's going to be going through this. Tell me about the Eight of Cups. Because Libra, this could be vice versa as well. Libras are, you know, all about what's fair, what's just. So I feel like they would communicate with somebody even if the feelings were gone, just to give them clarity. So with the Eight of Cups, we have the Hanging Man. So somebody's waiting in limbo. Somebody's trying to decide whether to move on. And I feel like that's the other person's energy, the one that's still holding on. They're possibly trying to move on, but for whatever reason, they can't let go quite yet. Tell me about the Four of Cups. I feel like this Four of Cups is your energy. Like you didn't resonate with this person anymore. You were just kind of bored with the relationship. With the Devil, you could have possibly, again, be in a relationship with somebody else. And, you know, you were just kind of bored and, you know, probably stroking the ego a bit by being with somebody else. You were getting attention from somebody else. And that's possibly what's creating this jealousy. Tell me about the Emperor. Clarify the Emperor for Libra. Ace of Wands. Tell me about the Ace of Wands. Why is the Ace of Wands here for Libra? Oops. Two of Pentacles. So there was possibly a one-night stand here, and somebody decided to juggle. Again, Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. We got a choice to make. But I feel like the choice is kind of obvious. You're bored with one of your offers. You may care about this person, but at the same time, you're not giving them clarity because you'd rather just move on. Tell me about the Seven of Cups. Or this could be that, you know, you have multiple offers with the Seven of Cups. You have Strength, could be dealing with a Leo, Knight of Swords, Judgment, Six of Pentacles. So, you know, Strength goes hand in hand with the Devil. This is having the willpower to, you know, get your temptations in check. But I feel like you're kind of chasing the dragon with the Seven of Cups. You'd rather have your options. Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Again, you'd rather have your options. You're going to be a charmer. And if this isn't your energy, then it's possibly the person you're dealing with. If it doesn't resonate, throw it out. But I feel like we got somebody who'd rather be a player, who'd rather play the game, who'd rather, you know, have their cake and eat it too. So if you're not dealing with this, then I would check your other signs in your chart. But there's definitely somebody who is dealing with this or who is kind of in this player energy. And they're kind of ghosting somebody right now because they got bored and they don't feel like giving this person the clarity. But this person needs that clarity to move on. There's somebody here who's in the dark still about why this relationship didn't work. So if you want them to stop bugging you, shoot them a text. Tell them, I'm sorry. I'd rather just have my options right now. I'm not looking for any kind of commitment. So let me get you some final advice and see what shadow work you should be working on. We have Storm Chaser. I don't think I've ever seen this one. Card number 29. So let me read it out of the book. So expect creative energy. Energy is in the air. You will soon be struck with profound creative power. Tap into this energy and find the inspiration to create through art, writing, or another form of expression. Be warned, this force will build up and it will be released. It is best to select a proper creative outlet so it does not turn into a destructive force. This creative energy can produce amazing results and tap into artistic reserves you never knew you had if you open yourself up to the power and are receptive at the right time. Now is the time to complete that project you have been wanting to finish but have had trouble wrapping up. It is also the ideal time to start something new, your signature piece, your work of a lifetime. If you do not do it soon, you may miss an exceptional opportunity. Who knows when it will come again? So I know it sounds like it doesn't really relate to this, but it absolutely does. When people cheat, when people get bored in relationships, oops, it was upside down the whole time, I'm sorry. I fully believe it's passion that's being misdirected. Once you find something in your life, like a hobby or a job, that really goes with whatever you're passionate about, you won't feel these urges to have options. You won't feel these urges to be a player. You'll want to commit to one person. So if you feel the need to give in to temptations, if you're feeling like extremely high energy and all that, and you feel the need to step outside of a relationship, or you're feeling bored with your relationship, try to find a creative outlet to express your passions. Misdirected passion always creates third-party situations, always. I've been there. Once I started finding a passion, which would be tarot for me, I no longer felt the need to venture outside of relationships.